I have to show you a study that I just looked at that kind of shocked me. It didn't kind of shock me, it really shocked me. It's called The Relationship Between Cell Phone Usage on the Physical and Mental Well-Being of University Students, a cross-sectional study. And this was on the National Library of Medicine, and it highlights some very shocking statistics when put into words. For me, my jaw was on the floor when I was reading this. The conclusion says, the study highlights a significant association between the excess use of cell phones and negative effects on physical and mental well-being. We all kind of knew this. I think a lot of us have this guilt about using our cell phones when we've been stuck scrolling for a long time. I've certainly felt this. And the reason I'm bringing up all of this is because I was compelled to look into this after very suddenly curing my cell phone addiction and feeling a wash of energy and clarity and focus. And I wanted to see what the science said, because I want to bring this to more people. This is an incredible thing that I've experienced. It says the things that were measured were eye strain, weight gain, neck and back pain, depression, loneliness, and mood disorder. I think some of these we can admit to having suspicions about, because a lot of us, I think, know on a deep level that it's not doing us any good to spend this much time on our phone, and then we feel bad. One of the things that's unique about humans is we know that we have some capacity to change, some capacity to do good in the world, and when we don't measure up to that, our conscience makes us feel emotions which aren't pleasant. I was feeling crazy shame, and I didn't want to bring it up because I just felt everybody's doing it, so it makes it not as bad. But it doesn't have to be that way. The report actually addresses public health policymakers and stakeholders. It says that we need to address the ill effects of excessive uses of cell phones through novel policies, especially for young students. Now, this is important because what you do early in life compounds later in life. In this study, it lasted 3 years, and it showed that excessive cell phone use in adolescence found that using cell phones could be a significant predictor of depression. Furthermore, adults' excessive cell phone usage was associated with depressive mood, anxiety, and loneliness. These things aren't good. They're just not. I don't need to tell you that. Interestingly, users spending excessive time on a cell phone had higher stress levels. In the study, they found that problematic cell phone usage is associated with psychological distress and emotional dysregulation. I was certainly feeling this, having emotions of tension, anger, and bouts of not wanting to connect with people. I think that had something to do with the shame that I was feeling for spending so much time on my phone. So in this study, they showed the difference of effects between people who used a low amount of cell phone use and high amounts. And the low amount of usage was 3.5 to 7 hours. I would say that's quite a lot, but the high amount of cell phone usage was 7 to 9 hours. And this study showed that people who were using their cell phones for a long period of time, they were having eye strain, back pain, neck pain, significant symptoms of depressive and mood disorders. Anxiety and emotional dysregulation were also mentioned. It's fascinating to see this study highlight these things, which I think many of us sort of knew on some level. This is a study in the Library of Medicine, PubMed. And it was done in 2022 in August. This study validated the effects of problematic cell phone use, particularly digital stress, low self-esteem, worries and anger, loneliness, anxiety, depression. These are not a joke. For me, I feel that it's valuable to bring this up because if you're feeling anything like what I was feeling, you know that these things are not good, but yet because everybody else does it, it seems to be okay. We have to remember that everything we do compounds on us in the future. Now, the crucial component that I was doing incorrectly was I was being ashamed of this. I was getting into this rut thinking that, oh, I've wasted so much time. What good am I? What benefit? What's the point of trying today since I've already wasted so much time. I don't want this feeling to be prevalent among the people that I share the world with. And frankly, I know that it doesn't take an expert to see this. This paper, it's validating in a way for sure. That's a good thing because it makes me more confident in the feeling I was feeling. My impulse was that this is widespread. And this 3-year study shows that it's no joke. It says so right here, that mobile phone addiction is rapidly gaining acceptance as a serious psychological condition. A serious psychological condition is being accepted. Maybe that's because we feel that there is no escape, or there's nothing we can do about it. I think a lot of us have this perspective that using our phone is just a part of life, and we have to use it to keep up. But what I was feeling is likely also not that isolated. I was feeling like the thoughts I was having were not my own. I was feeling neurotic. I was feeling too sped up, and my days were flying by. More than that though, I wasn't feeling creative. I wasn't feeling like I was offering anything unique. I could sense that I was wasting away. And I don't want that for anybody. The risks and the intuitions we feel about this are observed and are noticed, and this validates me. I hope that it gives you some comfort in knowing you're not alone, and that it's okay to see this as a bad thing. I believe there is a way around this without being completely disconnected. For the last few days now, I've been so clear and disconnected from my phone, I feel like it's just a tool. It sits there, and whereas I used to have it on my person all the time, I don't feel that anymore. I don't feel that draw to need to pick it up if I have an idle moment. To add to that, I've been more productive, I've felt creative, and I felt motivated to do the things I want to do. It just blows me away, the difference. It's really quite shocking. Other effects the study found was headaches, fatigue, impaired concentration, memory disturbances, and poor sleeping patterns. I'm sure some of us can relate. Now this one's the kicker. They were more likely to report loneliness, depression, and mood disorders. Could that be partly because we feel like we're not doing what we're here to do? We're not living in line with our potential. We're not living integrally to what we can offer. I mean, each of us has the ability to expand our potential, to be empowered to create great things on this planet. And I know that a big component of that is our mind, and the way our mind restricts us and leads us to think certain unhealthy mental patterns, like shame, disgust, depression, and anxiety about a comparative part of our being. I think a lot of these experiences are as a result of our mind toying with us, making us feel ashamed when we're compared to people. And that comparison in itself being the thief of joy as we know it is, it's really exacerbated when we hypnotize ourselves with this cell phone. We are in a daze, going through images at 100 times a second, looking at other people's lives and subconsciously comparing ourselves to them. I wouldn't be surprised if there's further studies done here to describe why we feel depressed. We have the capacity to change our mental patterns because the subconscious still works in a way that all it does is want to keep us safe, and how it does that is it keeps us doing behaviors that make us accepted and that help us belong. I want these things for you. I want you to feel this freedom from this device, knowing that it has a lot of benefits, but as this study shows here, we are starting to recognize and acknowledge the detractors. I hope you can find the peace in your heart that you're looking for. If this video has found you, it means you don't feel quite content with the way your life is going in terms of your relationship with this fascinating piece of technology. There are ways to tear yourself from this reliance on the device and have your own thoughts again. I've done it, and I want nothing more than for you to experience that clarity yourself. For me, I went into my subconscious mind and I simply trained myself to not need it. I've rewired my mind to not go through that physical pattern of reaching for my phone whenever I have an idle moment. My thoughts are clearer, as I've said, and I feel a lot more at peace and a lot more myself. Grounded and whole and full of potential. I want that for you. I wish you all the best. I love you. Be well.